We have moved to another location, and this is pre-machinery. This is going to be cut down this summer sometime, and I'm walking at the end of the area with the orange markers and trying to make a picture of how this area looks like. It's quite a lot of environmental care areas. This is one. You see the blue and blue, red and white marker, and then you have a yellow and red marker. Yellow and red marker marks an area that's protected inside the cutting area, and if you see the blue, red and white, that's probably this dead piece of wood and the birch. It's gotten more and more complicated every year, and this year it's even more complicated because probably due to machinery ignoring the care areas and driving through and they don't see it. It's been a problem with the markers too. They haven't put them in sufficient numbers so they can see. They drive the machinery at night, by the way. And yeah, you can see I'm inside the protected area. We have some dead trees, and there's an old one covered in moss, and there's one on the way to get covered in moss. So there's multiple layers of dead wood and moss cover. So now I'm walked outside the protected area, big protected area. It goes up for about 200 meters maybe, and this is 25 hectares altogether. I haven't checked how much protected area that's in this. 25 hectares is with the protected areas, and it's quite a lot. And then we have, see these trees with double tips, and that's protected because you can't get, and it has branches all the way down, so this don't make a good tree to send to the mill. Then you might as well leave it, because that's those trees that make good protected trees. If you don't need to cut them down, there's no use. Then you can cut this straight one with no branches, or branches very high up. And over here you can see we have a dead stump, very old, and you have double markers on 2 pines. This double marker means that the machine cuts a high stump 3 meters for environmental care. So this is going to get accompanied by 2 high stumps, this old stump. So the machinery is going to cut 2 more high stumps over here. And if it's a black and yellow marker, then it's cultural care. This is nature, environmental care, nature care. And if it's black and yellow, then it's cultural. Then it's some kind of a building, foundation, old stuff, old road, carriage road. We have hundreds of years of forestry, the industry in Sweden, and all the roads that we find, roads and old border lines and stuff like that. Houses, foundations, charcoal manufacturing. There's a variation of charcoal manufacturing, tar manufacturing. We have iron manufacturing. All that goes under cultural care. So we have to watch out when we are searching this. And we who cut the we clean out the forest for machinists. It's for the machinist here who drives the machine to see what he's doing. It goes a lot faster for him to do this job if we have come in and cleared all the underbrush. And we are the ones who actually walk the whole ground that's going to be cut. So we encounter a lot of stuff that's might have been missed, and everyone in the chain is going to have to react when they find the stuff that's needed to be protected, because this guy who made the first he who has taken out the cut area, he might have missed things, and then we come in and we might miss things, and then the guy who drives the machine comes in and he might miss things, and so on and so on. But everyone has to check the other guys. But it's gotten a lot better. You can see almost everything is marked with markers. So in this case I won't go near this. I'll leave this one, birch and the spruce, because when they come into plow, if you will, it's not plowing, I don't know the correct English term for that, before planting, when they make the small shallow ditches. If I leave this, then the machinist will see that if the markers has fallen off from the other machine felling trees on them, but my small trees are left, then he sees that it's something here. But if I were to cut this down and the next guy cuts something else down, and then there won't be anything left, and the plow machine will run this over probably. But as I said, it's gotten a lot harder. The regulation and the controls has been a lot harder. We have this cut area has been authorized by Swedish Forestry Department and Regional Department, and a third in-house department, private, from the customer. He has his own environment agency in his firm. So this is controlled 3 times and authorized by all 3 before we get to go in and do this cleaning. So, and I have some own tricks up my sleeves when I go. I usually don't cut too close to the edge. You can see you have dead wood and some underbrush here, but there isn't any trees for the mill. They are over here. So I might just cheat a little and cut 2 meters away from these trees. Just clear this, maybe that one. And this one, because I have protected area over there and the border marker over there, I can cut this a bit high, leaving green branches at the bottom. Then you get protection for birds and snowshoe hare under here. Yeah, this looks quite thin. It's not so much to cut, but we have another area too. Maybe that's a bit thicker with underbrush. Here you can see another pine that's marked with nature care. And this is got branches quite far down, so this is not a high class timber, because you have the branches, then the lumber will be not quite as good as it needs to be. And this is quite large diameter too, and a bit crooked, so this can stand, and it complements the birch on the. I don't cut anything in near this. You can see here it's been pre-cut maybe 20 years ago, this area. So these stumps are, you can say, what we do in the young forest. Then they make 2 runs clearing after we have cut in the young forest, and this is the latest of the 2 clearings with machinery. And then they leave it to get some thickness to the trees, and then they cut them down and take it to the mill. So this is probably at least 20 years. So this tree stands next to it, and this will be left, the birch and this tree. And the border is just about there, so I'm not going to touch anything on this, between this nature care tree and the border. And you also have a natural high stump or widowmaker. There's a debate on how we are supposed to go ahead with these. Some means that they are going to be left, and some mean the machine needs to cut them and lay them down, because we are going in here. I'm here now, and I can get this over me, and in a couple of years there will be a team of planters in here and walking around next to these things. But yeah, it wouldn't feel so good if you got that thing in your head. Oh, I have a bit of a mosquito problem, I see. Nice. I love those little buggers. Yeah, so I'm just walking you through this before I start cutting and showing you what's in here. You can see here. Yeah, nothing. Has he actually missed this? Yes, he has. This I'm going to leave, or even go get my markers of my own. I didn't bring any markers. You have an old stump, and away from the stump you have an old tree laying down, covered in moss. And then you have some crooked trees all around here, and then you have this one with a quite large damage. Maybe a lightning strike or something. It runs down and it's twisted, so this doesn't make for good lumber, so this might as well stay. And it's quite close to the edge, so I'm going to leave all this underbrush here. And I think I'm going to start here so I don't forget it, because if I come in from a different angle I risk going through that. But I don't see any I don't see any air protected area, so I think he has missed that. So that's why we all have to watch it when we go through this. This marker is for the dead stump, and the tree is looking quite thick and have branches far down, so it's no loss for the company. All the trees with nature care markers are rather thick and branches quite far down. Yeah, enough chit chat. Let's get this show on the road, I think. I managed to scavenge some old markers that the other guy has left. He actually called me yesterday and told me that I should bring markers because if he had missed something we could mark it out, and this is the second dead old tree and with a special pine over here, so I'm gonna tie this marker to this one. I'm just finished cutting through up to the protected area where I came in blabbering on, and down the border here and down to the other dead tree I found down there. So yeah, I'm going to tie these markers up, so I'll be right back. So I marked this just for me so I can find this place when I come back easy. And I'm gonna bring some more markers and mark this out. I've been in this business since professional since 17, but I've been working in the forest all my life, more or less, with my grandfather at the age of 14 and my father's land up at the cottage. And what I have seen, and I also gone to school based on forestry, and we have to do examinations every 5th year for this work, and that's more or less nature and cultural care and care of every sort. But what I have seen after the machines come in, they might fell a tree and hit this and shave it off, so there's no markers, or it's night and they don't see, or they don't care, or whatever. So I mark it out with a marker, and then I leave as much as I can around that area, because if he comes in and cut away that big pine, as long as it doesn't hurt that dead tree, it doesn't matter. He can take the pine. The pines doesn't matter here. But if he take this pine, all of this will be left. So when the machine that plows the area later on, he will see that there is something here and won't hopefully drive through it. So you can put up how many markers you want. If it rains heavily and they get wet and then the wind takes them off, if I leave all of this brush around here, then the driver of the last machine that's in here before planting will see that there is something laying here. So I always leave everything around protected areas and nature care, because I don't have time to go through them. I make my gain by leaving nature care is time, so I get faster as long as I'm not filming and talking. But yeah, that's my own definition of care. Nature care is to just leave it alone. That's the best care you can show. And I gain time by doing that. It's in the education for the key, you can go in different areas if it's wet or dry and do different types of clearing, but I just say if something grows there, just leave it. That's nature. Leave the nature to itself. So you can see all the underbrush is cut here. You have the natural care over there, nature care, and over here, and I didn't go all the way to the border there, and this is the one that I found. I haven't touched this one, and I left a marker over there so I can find it with my new roll of markers, because but the harvester won't touch this. I think he might go for some of the 2, 3, 4 pines, maybe 5 around this tree, and then it's all underbrush, and I'm gonna leave that. So even if I forget this, he will see that I haven't touched this. It's cut over here, and over here it's natural. Yeah. And I also wanted to mention the stumps that I leave. I'm supposed to leave no higher stumps than 10 centimeters out in the open area, and at the tree, now this one was growing inside, at the tree, no more than 5 centimeters, because he needs to get his cutting device around this tree and down as far as possible and to cut it. And if I have left stumps that sticks up like this, he might break the chain or damage the machine, or yeah, and it costs a lot of money. So we keep the stumps low, 5 centimeters at the trees and 10 centimeters out in the open. And I also leave try to leave. Sometimes I get those too, but underneath my knee, like this one. See, my knee is there. Then I just leave it on this, so I don't cut everything away. I leave, there is something left, and that is also to gain time for me. I get faster, and I also try not to cut in anything dead. Let's see if this one. So if I come up and I have a lot of brush, and if I don't notice it, I don't notice it, but this one I noticed was dead, so I don't cut this one. Cutting one of these might take 1 second, or you might end with a lot of problem if it pinches and you dead wood fibers they often try to hurt you or hurt the saw in some sort. So I just leave them, because if that's 1 second cutting and you have 300 of this in an area, then you gain time. It's not a lot with one, but if it's a lot of them, then you end up with minutes, and over a year, hours. So I try to leave them. Yeah, I think that's enough for today. So I'm going to get in the battle with this and clear it for the harvester. The harvester is a couple of kilometers away. He started yesterday, I heard, and yeah, we're trying to not get in his way. So yesterday I was working on the backhoe, so I got a movie coming up for the weekend about that. I'm not going to tell you what's happened, but I made some progress, and I made some, let's say, a couple of steps forward and a couple of steps in another direction. Yeah. That'll be all for today. Over and out from Sweden. I'm just gonna show you, I've been cutting away a bit further. This is after the break, and I went to get some more markers. I marked out the dead tree lying down with moss. This is the second one, and then it's one over there. Just marking it for the harvester so he can see that there is something lying down here. Not that it's hard to see, but anyhow. So I marked all the small trees around here, and then I marked the leaning one over there. It's bent with branches all the way down. It can be left there. The wind might take it and push it over, and then it's another dead tree on top of this one, and that's really nice. The problem with for humans to show care for nature is that care in nature is chaos, and humans doesn't like chaos. Humans want it tidy, clean, nice cut lawns, and the nature isn't like that. This one I saved. This is the first tree I found laying down, and I turned around and found the other one up there. This tree has an old damage. It's probably, I'm just guessing, a lightning strike in that's probably really old, because you can see it's got grey dead wood in here. The rest of the tree is fine. So nice and green up there, but it's nothing for the sawmills. That bottom log wouldn't that's just rubbish. But in the forest, it's gold. So I left another bent one there. This is also bent. This is going to. He won't touch that one. I think I might just see if I can do this one-handed. This would be right there. Yeah, this is really easy. Good TV. Okay, all right. I saw this was also very bent. You can see the twist in the bottom there. This is like an S shape, so it's, and the other one has a damage on the bottom. No good for lumber, the sawmill. This one is also S shaped. I see. I think I might throw another one on there. Might as well. If I come across a S-shaped tree just in the other part of the cut, I don't care. This is just because I have a dead tree lying on the ground here. Like so. Now you have real good. I usually put long markers on so they flap in the wind so you can notice them. If they're too short, they don't move. So here is the dead tree, and now you have markers both sides and on the short ends here and up there. So, and this is freshly cut, and there is my saw. Well, that's how it goes. I don't think I'm going to find so much more dead trees. I think those are the only. I went through it when I went back on the break, and it looked fine. Everything else. So, have a good one.